My final thought is ITAM has been and always will be about people, processes, and tools. And let's keep them in that order and keep them in that context. AI is a tool. It does not replace people. And it's up to us to create the processes to make AI the best partner we can have.
So I guess AI is definitely got the potential to improve efficiencies and I think improve the end customer experience as well. The fact that it will allow us, to speed up operations and get, operate on behalf of the customer faster. So I think it will improve their experience.
Maybe to add on what Anne already said, just don't be afraid. So start going into that topic, being aware, maybe adding your skills, but of course for true people, processes, and the technology will stay, definitely.
Get excited about some of the long-term, the future possibilities, get excited about the whole domain, but don't panic about trying to answer all of the questions that need to be answered for some of those future use cases. Focus on what you can do now. Get involved, get your acceptable use policies in place, get your vendor contracts in place, get your identification in place. Do what you can do now. Get excited, but don't panic about not knowing the answers to some of the questions out there.
Great points across the panel here, but I would just say, AI has the power to be transformative for ITAM. Let's recognize that, but it also comes with its challenges. And I think from an organization perspective, I think it would be good to think about what your strategy is, what the biggest areas of impact are, and approach it from that aspect. Like, how does it add ultimately business value, transformative business value to your organization, and approach it from that aspect?
In terms of planning, which is what we've touched on, they're kind of saying, sometimes it's event driven, like I said, is an audit. Okay, we don't have an ITAM practice or an ITAM program. Where do we go from here? So they've got they want to do it, but they don't have the knowledge. So as a service provider, we bring in that knowledge and expertise to baseline, benchmark where they are, because then obviously as well you can measure from there onto the progress. And I think it said that in the standard about doing a canvas, like a business canvas, so like a brainstorming session or post-its on the wall to see what you want to get out of your ITAM program. And I think it's important that, again, get the right people in. Need to get the buy-in from senior leadership. It's going to be funds, but again, align to the business objectives. Make sure that it's all talking back to each other and it's all relevant to the C-level, etc.
What we very much like to do is kind of a twofold, methodology. Yes, having everyone in the room, and really I find that even having those detractors in the room, this isn't going to work. Getting their feedback right early in terms of that planning, but then taking a very cold, objective, data-driven approach. Right? This is, you have this and this coverage, you are missing this. We need a technology management strategy that, may rip out some of your existing stack and put something in place. But then at least you have that justification. We want to have this and this publisher scope that, turns out this kind of pain in the neck publisher from sourcing is just their silo issue. For the overall objectives in the organization, we look at that data. So I think kind of blowing away all the politics and tribal knowledge and just taking that data-driven approach.
The ITAM function shares a lot of goals with, for instance, security. And there's a lot of things that may not be in place, but are very easy to organize. You may not have an acceptable use policy for your assets, for instance, but there are chances that it has a huge overlap with what security is already giving out or corporate governance is already given out. And there's a lot of links in the governance layer that you can already make that are not too much effort, even when it comes to scope. And that is something that is lacking. And I think that's something where we usually begin, because it solves a lot of issues with scope, governance, maybe even your year plan. And that's always striking. And that are not the things that you need huge amounts of FTEs for, but you can relatively easily organize in the first year that you're building your practice.
Your first step should be cadence calls, talking to that other function, and then the two of you together understanding. If you don't already understand, shame on you, but if you don't already understand, get in front of that executive and say, what is important to you? How do we demonstrate that we're moving the needle and driving that value? And one of the first things you should endeavor to do is how you demonstrate that, right? You talk to 6 different executives, they're going to want 6 different things. The one who's your sponsor and is really driving that value kind of externally, understand what that 1 or 2 easy to manage, easy to report metrics are, start putting that out on a reliable, trustworthy basis, start building that trust and demonstrating your value as a kind of shared discipline. That's what you need to do. So reach out to the FinOps folks, have that cadence, understand the value you're supposed to be demonstrating or required to demonstrate, and have an easy, simple, repeatable process to get some reporting out. That should be your basis if you're just starting out.
There's 3 phases: inform, optimize, and operate. And so my advice would be just start getting through cycles. Inform, optimize, and operate doesn't mean you have to fully build out all these processes over months and months and months to get started. Inform, optimize, and operate can literally be something that happens during a single day. And then you go and you make some changes through that process, and then you see what the results were, and then you go and you iterate again. So it doesn't have to be something that's a long, drawn out, massive process. Just get started. So that would be my advice for somebody just getting started.
I think you've got to take a look at your own experience on this as well, right? So you didn't just wake up one day and knew what ITAM was and knew how to do it. So you've been through a process of organizational change as well as your own learnings. So take some of the experience that you've already got. You know, the first time you walk into ITAM, you go, oh my God, you've got all these different principles and all these different things that need to be laid down. How am I going to do it? Who do I need to speak to? And all those things. So yes, if there is a FinOps team already existing, absolutely go and start having a conversation with them. It just doesn't have to be formal, just a general chat. You know, what is it you do? How does it work? Who do you speak to? Who are your stakeholders? And you can start sharing ideas. So yeah, so I think don't be scared of it. Don't let it overwhelm you. You can't boil the ocean as it were. So take it a bit at a time, and yeah, and start drip feeding those improvements across over time.
Make friends, share experiences, help people. That's not just in FinOps and ITAM, but if you do that, generally you'll do pretty well in collaborating with anyone, and that's what this is about. So just make friends, share experiences, help people.